Hey, today I'm going to set up two of the hydroponics bins that I've used quite a bit. They're powerhouses. They work great. I have a previous video showing how to set these all up, but basically it's just super simple. It's a restaurant bus bin, and I pop 8 holes in it. You could do a few more if you wanted to, but I mainly use these for greens, so the spacing works out quite well. And it is limited to only 8, but with how easy these are to build and how cheap they are, the bins cost $7 to $8. Net cups are pennies a piece, so you can really put the whole thing together. Plus, they're great. Basically, just have an air stone in each one, and I'll fill them up to just below the net cup, because my starts that I'll show you in a minute, the roots are already shooting down. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do in these two hydroponics bins. I'm doing some Italian kale, which has already sprouted up. These took exactly 1 week to get to this stage. I also have another video showing how I use these root plugs, but as you can see, they have beautiful roots coming right out of them, and they're shooting right down. Well, there's a plant trying to grow backwards. That's awesome. Anyway, it won't hurt anything. I only really want one in each of these. So basically, now that you can see that the roots are starting to come out the sides and they're starting to shoot out the bottom of these plugs, that's the perfect time to go ahead and set them in the net cups. Now you can see that it's going to wiggle a little bit. What I'll usually do is I'll rip apart another plug and just kind of wedge it in there so it doesn't move a whole lot. It's not a big deal, but if that water's hitting it, it'll move around. And I just want it to be stable. So with one advantage of the rock wool, although I will say that these germinate faster and they do seem to work better. One advantage of the rock wool is that they fit a lot better in these cups. Another thing to consider in these cups is, I could use a smaller cup. But unless you're doing all greens. But the reason I don't use these is because, as you can see, these have a nice lip on them, so that's definitely something to consider when you're buying your cups, is buy cups that have that lip on them. That way your cups are going to stay in there nice and sturdy. They will not fall down, whereas this, it doesn't have any lip on it at all, so it would run the risk of falling through. So even though these are a better fit, these net cups work a lot better, and so I'll just stabilize those a little bit and they'll be good to go. So as you can see, within about a day or so, those roots will punch down below and they'll actually seek the water out. So I'm not going to bring the water all the way up. I'm only going to bring it to about ½ an inch below the surface of the cups, and so those roots will reach down and grab that water, and then they'll just explode. And I'm super excited to grow 8 Italian kales, and right next to it I'm going to do 8 spinach. I might just do all kale to start, because the spinach, as most of you know, takes a while to germinate. I did have a few that popped out really early, and I think it's because these weren't on any heat. I think they probably all would have popped if they were on some heat. So as you can see, you just pull them out and I pop them right into these cups. And some of these, like I said, since the cup doesn't exactly fit, you could put some hydrogen in there or something, but for as little space as there is, I'm just going to break up a root plug and kind of wedge them in there, and they'll work just fine. So what I'll do is I'll take some of these root plugs and I'll just cut them into slices, height-wise, and then you just take them and just kind of put them in there like that. And the roots will have no problem growing right through them, and it'll keep your plant from moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more of those cut and get the rest of these filled. Now, some of you have asked me, where did I get this equipment? How much did it cost? I'd be happy to build one of these for you and ship it with the air stone, You know, I can even ship you a pump if you want, and the net cups, everything you would need besides the you know, the nutrients to go in it. You know, I'd have to factor something in for build time, but cheaper than you could buy at the store anyway. So here's the pump I have these running on. Just a very simple basic pump, not very expensive. I have it going into a 4-way split, so I can go up to 4 different boxes per pump if I want. And then I have 2 of them, since I'm only using 2 right now. I have 2 of them capped off so that the most air is going down the 2 that I am using. And so these will just connect into air stones. So then the tubing comes up and then just connects into an air stone. So I went ahead and I got all of these plugs in, and that's how they look when you give them a little bit more support. So these size cups, I think they're 2-inch cups. I find they work perfect. Alright, so we got about 3 gallons so far in each of these, so I put about 4 gallons in each probably. And what I'm going to be using in here is this Pure Blend Pro Grow. It's a 324. I've used it before. It's you know, an organic plant food, and it works really well. Doesn't clog anything up. And if you're using, the one thing that they do mention is if you're using filtered water or reverse osmosis water like we do, they want you to add some CalMag in there, so I'll be adding that as well. Here's the CalMag. The nice thing about adding this is it does give you the calcium and magnesium, and also boosts up your nitrogen a little bit, and then it also has trace minerals in it. So really good stuff from Botanicare. I use it a lot, and a little goes a long way. I mean, you know, this is still my first that I've ever had, and it's still about half full. For everything that I do, you know, it goes a long way. So with these 4 gallons, I use 2 tablespoons of the Pure Blend and half a tablespoon of the CalMag. You can just measure it out and pour it right in there. No need to mix it because your air stone will do that. And then you just put the cover back on, and you're growing hydroponically. So I hope you like this video. We'll definitely have some updates. You guys can see how easy it is to grow 8 heads of anything. Greens, you theoretically could grow anything in these, but there's, you know, they have their practical applications. So hope you like this video. Please click like, comment, and subscribe. You can also check us out on Facebook with the link in the description, and we'll check you later.